Hello, so I'm gonna cover the walkie-talkie and its uses. So at first glance, walkie-talkie may seem like a useless item. I'll try to guess I play for it to get some hints. If you activate it, you put up the hand with the walkie-talkie and you get usually 2 text boxes for the hints, sometimes 1. I don't think there are any cases where you get more than 2. But yeah, that's all it seems to do, but it actually holds the key to 2 very powerful glitches I'm gonna cover. So, before we do that though, let's go the chest glitch. It's been known for a while, but in short, if you open the chest buffered from a menu, you can trigger this where you gain control during the text boxes, which can freeze the screen and do things, very useful things like that, so you can skip triggers. But it's a very limited place where you can set this up, because it only works on chest. It does not have a cinematic animation, like when you acquire item, it plays a full cinematic. It doesn't work there. And secondly, it requires the chest to actually have a text box too, which is very few places. So if I go into this and try to do it here with just a key, I don't have a text box, so it doesn't work. And if I go into this place and try and do that, it doesn't work at all because the place is cinematic. So instead, if I activate the walkie-talkie at the same time, if I do it from here, it just places them on top of each other, or rather one then another. But if I do it buffered from the start menu, place them on top, you can gain control during the walkie-talkie text box, which freezes the screen so you can do actions, shooting, everything stored. If I open the door, here I know there's 2 text boxes too, so after the second one, everything happens. Additionally, with the walkie-talkie, we can also trigger this on opening locked doors, like here. And here I can also show some first use of where this could be useful. So click 1 because I know there's 2, and when I walk through, the lever transitions are still active. So I walk through, cancel out and keep walking forward. So I walked past the trigger that normally sends you out of this dark room. Because I don't have flashlight, I can then walk in, hit this trigger, which actually sets a flag for the game, and then walk out. You have to be careful when walking out, because when you hit that trigger, which is still there, we don't override it or anything. You need to be able to aim through the door, or else it's gonna glitch out the camera. So in question, what this does is it hits the flag, which changes the property here, so it locks that door and instead lets you take the side path, skipping the room with the map and everything. A very similar case here is, instead of doing the method of flashlight skip which I showed before, which uses the chest glitch, and I have to carry a text box through, all the way through up top here, which is quite complicated and not very fun to do. You can just do this here on the chest setup. Click once because there's 2 text boxes here, walk through and click, and just keep walking forward to skip over the trigger there. Thirdly, here by mannequin 1 fight, so you can skip this with the pause method of walking into pausing, which I did get there, but it's a bit inconsistent. If you miss it, you have no way of resetting it, so you only have 1 try. So instead what you can do is do the chest glitch, the walkie-talkie glitch, I mean. Click once, walk through, and keep walking forward so you skip over the trigger. So, the simple way of doing that skip. The second way of doing glitches with this is we can do animation overrides or cancels. Depends a bit on the situation, what if it overrides or fully cancel it. But here, if you interact with this, Jenny will fall down in the water and you have to do the side quest of rescuing her. Instead, you can buffer both these actions and override that. So now she's still in the party and you can change to what level, though that trigger is still there, we just overwrite it, so you have to be careful if you have to activate it again. Though the animation override and cancel is quite limiting use, so for example if I try doing this on this trash can chest where you get the trash can, instead it opens the chest but it overrides the animation and I can't trigger it again, and the trash can is getting the trash can. As you can see, I don't have it in inventory, is tied to the actual cinematic there, so it's very limited and you cannot do it on run triggers normally. There are a few exceptions to that. So here we have this crawl. If you crawl into this, normally you have this animation of losing the party and it takes a bit of time, but you can do this if you hold down and do the walkie-talkie here. You can override that and get through with the party, though that's very limited. It's only really useful here, I think, just to save that short animation of the party joining and getting out. But outside of that, it's very limited. Most of the time when you have these passive ways, you use the attack method to getting through anyways. And then when you hit the triggers, you can have sometimes trigger yourself into the passageway with the full party anyways. So quite limited. So, and finally, let's go to one of the limitation to the walkie-talkie, which is dark rooms. If you trigger the walkie-talkie in dark room, the screen goes black, which definitely has some implication, because if you try to open the door with this, the screen goes black, which freezes what the action takes place before the door can open, so it freezes earlier, so you can't walk through the door with the screens while the loading is locked. So yeah, and all this should be it for the walkie-talkie glitch, at least the basic. There are potentially some more things with it, which can delay certain actions and other things like that, but there's nothing I found to be really useful or useful in any way. So yeah, that's walkie-talkie glitch.